Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Sean, aka Learn from L's, back with another video. Gonna try and do these as consistently as I can. I don't wanna, I'm still quality over quantity all the way, but at the same time, I wanna make sure that, I'm doing it consistent enough and getting comfortable enough to, give you some genuine videos and really touch on some subjects that maybe, aren't, I guess, that are in tune with me, ultimately. That's all I'm really trying to do, is be as real, authentic as possible and talk about, the way I see things, and maybe in that, even in just speaking to you guys about it, I'm gonna discover some things about myself too. And the topic for this video that I wanted to go over is vulnerability. It's a topic that I don't think is touched on enough, especially coming from men, and I think it's really important to discuss, especially if you're more of the sensitive nature like I am. I was a dude who still is, I consider myself very sensitive, and in the sense that I'm both intuitive and things seem like they hit me harder than they would your average person. I'm not saying, necessarily, I think I am, to be frank, but I'm sure there are people out there like me. Regardless though, life is tough, right? Life is hard. Life is gonna throw some shit at you that doesn't matter who you are, it's gonna throw a curveball. You might not know how to handle it at first, and it's gonna have you feeling some type of way, maybe even take you to your knees, and there's that saying by Rumi too. It's like, when life brings you down to your knees, you're in the perfect position to pray, and I think there's value in that, in a higher purpose, just because it's going to keep you going and remind you that, ultimately, no matter what you're going through, you're only here for a temporary period of time. This is a hotel, basically. You're born and you're gonna die someday, and but to get back to the topic, really, I think, allowing yourself to be vulnerable at times is really important. That isn't to say that you're always breaking down and crying and, your world starts crumbling apart as soon as things don't go your way. It's more about, allowing yourself to feel those emotions that are difficult, that are tough. Like, it's allowing yourself the space to even cry if you need to, but it's not wallowing in that. That was my mistake as a child. Growing up, I would say, is that, some negative shit would happen. I break up with a girl, I thought she was my soulmate or whatever. And, I have this fucking tape repeating in my mind, like, your life is over. This is trash. Like, not just thinking that it's over for you. And instead of just like, okay, this is tough right now, cry if you need to, feel the pain, take a week, take however long you need, but life goes on, time will heal. Look past it. What did you gain from this? And I think, again, the reason I named this channel Learn from L's is that if you're doing life right, all the trials and tribulations you're going through are there to teach you something, And it goes back to, also, again, I bring this up a lot because this is a major thing that I'm working on, is to respond instead of reacting, right? Like, your baseline is to react. Someone says some shit you don't like, you freak out. You're not even thinking, you're just doing eye for eye. You're no better than the person, bro. They dissed you, you dissed them back. Like, okay, cool, bro. They dragged you down to their level. Like, and I'm not trying to be on nobody's level. I'm trying to be on my own. I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to be on my own shit. But yeah, so going back again to vulnerability, is that, yeah, you need to give yourself space to feel emotions, to go through things, but you need to learn to move on too. Like, feel those emotions, move on. Don't disconnect from your heart, because that was one of the first lessons I feel I remember the most, is that, there was a time I had a really bad breakup at the time for me, and it was so, I became fucking depressed, like, severely. I had no I feel like I suppressed my emotions to the point where everything was numb, everything was black and gray. And in that happening, I realized I'd rather, there's a song too, but I realized I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all. That's what it came down to. I'd rather feel pain than nothing at all, because what I realized, there's a saying by Rumi too, is like, God gave you 2 wings to fly, right? And those wings are pain and benediction, I guess you could say, pain and pleasure in a sense. Those are your wings, and you need to find the balance point between the two. That's how you transcend them. You remain detached in the middle. When it's your time to feel pain, you feel pain. When it's your time to feel elated and good, you feel it. Don't get attached to either one. That's why I realized, I'm a Libra too. Whether you believe in astrology or not, besides the point. All right, Libra is scales. Is finding the balance, I believe, and Buddha too talks about the middle path, the middle way. You know, he went to extremes. I feel I went through extremes, both negative and positive, you know, like from depression to mania. And I realized between the two is the golden mean. You know, you got to learn to find your balance. You got to walk the tightrope. Lean too much to the left, you're going to fall. Lean too much to the right, you're going to fall too. Learn to stay in the middle. So I think it's really important. A, you got to feel things through. B, you don't linger on them. You do what you got to do, feel what you got to do, feel what you got to feel, move on, right? Don't stay there too long, right? It's there to show you something. It's there to give you depth. That's the beauty too. I realize, you know, usually the people who have gone through the most, if they process it properly, have the most beautiful hearts too, because they know what pain is like. They know what suffering is like. They know what giving up is like. So they don't want others to feel that. Or if they feel that, they know how to, you know, in healing themselves and going through those trials and tribulations themselves, they know how to help you out of that. And I feel like, you know, if I'm ever going to have a purpose, it might be that, you know, I'm doing my best. Yes, I'm talking to you guys right now, but I'm also attempting to embody my philosophy. That's the most important thing. You know, it's easy to talk about ideals and the way you want the world to be, but you need to embody your philosophy. And I'm trying my best to do that. I'm not a perfect person. I'm learning as I go, but that's the most important thing, you know? And I feel we always got to keep in mind too, like a lot of people, you know, they put so much weight on, you know, education, you know, go to school, learn this, that, and the third, university. But, you know, what they fail to mention is that life is the greatest university if you're doing it right. If you're doing it right, there is no greater teacher than life itself, than God itself, you know? You're going to go through things that aren't in any books. And in doing so, you're going to gain wisdom that can't come from any books. That can only come through your lived experience. You know, you could, like they say in, in Good Will Hunting, you know, there's that scene where he's talking to, man, I can't even remember his name, the young one. Cool dude, I love that actor. But you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, the main dude. And he's talking to him like, you've read all these books, you know all about the Louvre, but do you know what it's like to feel, to be in the presence of it, to see the Mona Lisa with your own two eyes? You know, you could read all about it, but that's borrowed knowledge. It's not the same, you know? And yeah, sure, it's good if you're doing like, you know, something math related or work related, but when we're talking about experience being, you know, you could read all about love. Have you ever been in love? There's a difference. You know, you could read all the fairy tales, you could read all that in third, but have you ever been in it? It's not something that your mind cannot grasp it, you know, and that's the beauty of love, is that you must take a leap from here to here, which is a more genuine point, a closer point to God. And that's the thing. I feel like too many of us are, you know, we went through something traumatic, painful. We disconnected from here just to remain here because there's less pain here. Even though it's, you know, it's not painting the full picture. You're not really living, you know, you think you are, you're simulating living. You know, your eyes are open, but really you're sleepwalking because the whole time you're here, you're not here. And this is where your presence lies. This is where your truth lies. This is where your heart lies. You know, there's that saying too, like there are certain things that can't be taught. You know, heart is one of them. You know, like what some of our favorite athletes, like what made them so special was in the crunch time, when it mattered, the heart. You know, Michael Jordan, fourth quarter, season on the line, championship, you know, give him the ball, bro. He's going to do what he has to do and finish the game. Like you can't teach that. Either you got it, you don't. And I think we all have it to an extent, but it's learning how to tap into that. It's having the faith in yourself. And you know, there's that saying too, like God is always reaching out to you, but you also have to meet him halfway. You know, that's the free will aspect. He's always reaching out, but are you gonna put your hand out too and reach back out? You know, you got to do your part. You got to meet him halfway. And I feel like that's something valuable in there. But these are just things to keep in mind. Maybe I'm just planting seeds. Maybe I sound crazy to you, but those who know, they're gonna fuck with this. They gonna know what I'm on about. But yeah, I don't want to drag on too long, but just to sum it up, you know, feel what you gotta feel. Learn to be vulnerable when you need to. Allow yourself the capacity to feel and fall in love and be in love and grow through your experiences, good or bad, no matter how you label it. You know, that's your limited perspective, bro. It's an infinite universe. You don't know. You don't see the full picture, bro. You know, you're zoomed into a microscope. You know, there's that Alan Watts too, would say, someone I used to listen to would say, You know, conflict on one level is harmony on another. You know, it's like there's a war going on inside your body. Even your blood cells, your white blood cells are fighting other elements within your bloodstream. But in that conflict is actually a harmony when you zoom out the picture. You know, it's necessary. There's bacteria within you. There's certain things going on. Again, I'm not an expert on this. You know, those who are can probably back me at least on this. But again, just to say that, you know, like, to sum it up, smooth waters never made a skilled sailor, right? So make sure you leave the harbor, develop your skill as a sailor, and you'll be blessed in that way. Always look to improve, always look to learn, and give your space to feel. Much love, bro. Y'all got this. If you like this video, definitely drop a like, sub, show me some love, comment. If you have any other ideas, any other things you want me to tap into, let me know. Much love. Appreciate y'all checking this out. Learn from L's, bro. Peace out.